Caldari are a proud race, built on the tenets of patriotism and capitalism, but they are the embittered enemy of the Gallente Federation. The traditions held by their ancestors through hardships on an inhospitable homeworld is still carried on today. The Caldari have a corporate dictatorship, led by leaders who are determined to see the return to the meritocratic ideals of their ancestors. They are ruthless and efficient in the boardroom as well as on the battlefield. The Caldari are living emblems of strength, persistence, and dignity. The Caldari state is made up of 8 great mega-corporations, which are the CBD Corporation, Yasioda Corporation, Ishikone Corporation, Kalakiota Corporation, Lai Dai Corporation, Nugwehuvi Corporation, Suku Vesta Corporation, and the Wurakomi Corporation. Together they own more than 90% of all property within the state. Each of the corporations are made up of thousands of companies of various sizes and various sorts, ranging from mining companies to police companies. Since the Caldari breakout, Caldari Constructions was the most influential in the state because of their actions to help build the Caldari state. However, they were overthrown in a coup by Tibus Heth. Tibus Heth created the Caldari Providence Directorate after the overthrow, thus all megacorporations must be loyal to Tibus Heth and his Caldari Providence Directorate. Tibus Heth reunified the Caldari under one government and led them to take back Caldari Prime. Ruled by the Gallente for nearly 200 years, after a brutal battle both in space and land, Caldari took back their ancestral home and named the city of Arcuria as their new capital. Heth's government fell in a cataclysm of events, and the chief executive panel once again resumed its post as governing body of the Caldari state. Since then, there is no single unified government. Each corporation rules their territory, like their own kingdom, with little interference from the other corporations. Competition, efficiency, and market share is more important to the corporations than accumulation of wealth. The thousands of smaller companies ranging from industrial companies to law firms. All land and real estate is owned by a company which leases it to the citizens. They control and rule every aspect of society and government. Each megacorporation handles their own policing. Although this gives the corporations dictatorial powers, they are just as bound by Caldari customs and laws as the individual, and the fierce continual competition between the corporations ensures a healthy, consumer-based social environment, which benefits everyone. As a result, business for the good of the individual rather than the good of the many is something totally alien to the Caldari. The Caldari state has a few governmental bodies that are jointly run by the megacorporations. The chief executive panel, also known as the board of directors, is a political entity jointly owned and run by the megacorporations. The CEOs of each megacorporation sits on the board and ensures that megacorporations don't compete with each other, and eases potential conflicts before it escalates out of control. The panel handles the foreign policy of the Caldari state. It is considered the closest thing to a unified Caldari government. The Caldari Business Tribunal is the only non-corporate justice system and police agency within the Caldari state. They are tasked with policing the megacorporations and their disputes. The main function of the tribunal is to provide a non-violent means for corporations to resolve grievances, as inter-corporate wars tend to do significant damage to corporate interest. Tribunal justicars are appointed by the chief executive panel. Many appointees are corporate lawyers or security executives prior to their nomination. Additionally, tribunal investigators are among the few people in the state who are free of corporate loyalties. The lack of a unified Caldari government has often proved to be problematic when it comes to documenting events, deals, and communications. The House of Records was set up by the megacorporations to act as a central source for all this information. Information on all transactions, business deals, and governmental involvements within the state must be sent here and are stored in huge databanks. To ensure their world remained in their hands, the Caldari Navy deployed the CN Shigeru, a Leviathan-class Titan, to protect the planet, and it did for 5 years until the third battle of Caldari Prime, when it was destroyed in a final attempt by the Gallente to reconquer the planet. The Shigeru exploded upon planetary entry. A portion of the prow, approximately 1 kilometer in length, crashed to the surface over the Kalakiota Mountains, the debris remaining there for nearly a year. The orbital battle was a clear Gallente victory, but on the planet, the Caldari forces held their ground. The skirmishes continued for many more weeks until, through Ishikone's intervention, a ceasefire, then peace was declared on the planet, and partisan guardianship by Mordu's legion was determined by both the Gallente and the Caldari officials involved. Caldari strive to be at the cutting edge of military technology, and their vessels, weapons, and fighting methods are inferior to none but the enigmatic Jovians. Caldari Navy is the official branch of the Caldari state. but each megacorporation has their own military forces to defend their property and assets. To curb their aggressive tendencies, the Caldari actively pursue and sponsor a range of sporting activities. Many of these are bloody, gladiatorial-like competitions, while others are more like races. But whatever the sport, the Caldari love betting on the outcome, making gambling a massive industry in the state. The Caldari state offers its citizens the best and the worst in living conditions. As long as you keep in line, do your job, uphold the laws and so forth, life can be fairly pleasant and productive. But for those who are not cut out for this strict discipline regime, life quickly becomes intolerable. They lose their respect, family, status, everything. And the only options left to them are suicide or exile. Although not xenophobic as such, the Caldari are very protective of their way of life and tolerate only those foreigners that stick to the rules. The Caldari society is steeped in military tradition. As a people, its members had to fight a long and bloody war to gain their independence, and even had to surrender their home planet to their hated enemies, the Galentians. It was at this time that the corporations established themselves as the driving force behind creating and maintaining a new Caldari state. The Caldari are separated into two bloodlines, the Detairs and the Savaya. The Achura had joined Caldari state after they left the Galente Federation. The Detairs, commonly that of sharp, ordered minds and articulated tongues, are mostly found in positions of authority within the military and political spheres. Driven by the cultural premise that the good of the whole must come before the needs of the individual, they have made the responsibility of upholding the integrity of the entire Caldari state their own. Symbolizing the Caldari in every way, the Detairs are efficient, hard-working and duty-filled. The Detairs are commonly found in positions of authority, both in administration and the military, something that suits their temperament well. Savayas are cool, level-headed and relentless in their approach to either trading or fighting. The Savaya can handle pressure extremely well, so they are invaluable in combat and other stressful situations. They are deemed to be the absolute masters of focused aggression. They are highly competitive individuals, which they thrive under the chaotic circumstances and constant activity. They are often employed in highly stressful industrial and military professions due to an innate ability to think quickly on their feet and remain composed under pressure. Many of the best bounty hunters in the universe are Savaya, and the Achura have been part of the Caldari state for 3 centuries. Yet their culture has always remained something of a mystery. They originate from the Sisio system, on the planet Sisio 3, simply known as Achura, but they are reclusive and introverted with little interest in the ephemeral phenomena of the material world. They are, however, intensely spiritual, and Achura pilots have only recently taken to the stars. These pilots are driven largely by a desire to unlock the secrets of the universe. The rest of the Caldari story is up to us, and how we, the Caldari, shape the universe. Fly safe.